cast and these amazing angels around me to hold me up.
Yeah.
Before Michael K. Williams would find inspiration and a future in the world of entertainment thanks to a Janet Jackson music video.
Janet's Rhythm Nation video, it changed my life.
Before Michael K. Williams would become one of the most memorable character actors of an entire generation and earn a legion of fans for his remarkable portrayal of The Wire's Omar Little.
I think it was Sam Jack. He said, Denzel, he said, more than likely your first role that you broke with will be the role that you'll be remembered for most in your career.
Before Michael K. Williams would pass away at the age of only 54 years old after being found dead in his Brooklyn penthouse. Not every actor is lucky enough to earn themselves a role like Omar Little, the shotgun-wielding and widely charismatic stick-up artist who stole every scene he was a part of in HBO's The Wire. Now, of course, no character, regardless of how cool they are, is worth anything without a talented actor. And in that regard, it always seemed like Michael K. Williams, he was born to play this part. Now, the legend of Omar would practically become inseparable from the man who brought him to life. But Williams, he still managed to avoid the pitfalls that so many other talented actors have fallen to when portraying a character with such a strong orbit. Simply put, Williams, he was too magnetic to ever be typecast. Yes, he played one of the best characters in television history, but in the end, his career, it was about a lot more than that. Which is why when news broke about his death this past Labor Day, everyone who had ever been touched by the man's gifts, they took a moment to stop and reflect on what he meant to all of us. My name, of course, is Michael McCrudden. This is an episode of Gone But Not Forgotten. We got a lot to get through, so let's just get into it. Michael K. Williams was born on November 22nd, 1966 in Brooklyn, New York, to a couple who had immigrated from the Bahamas. Now, once in America, Michael's mother, Paula, she would become a seamstress, but she would later change professions and operate a daycare out of the Vanderveer Estates, the public housing complex where she lived with her young son after splitting from her husband. Growing up in East Flatbush, Michael, he attended George Westinghouse Career and Technical Education High School, located in the same borough, and back then, he wasn't exactly the intimidating presence he would one day become. Now, during an interview with Time magazine in 2017, Michael, he told them, "Growing up, I got picked on a lot. I was the corny one. I was not popular with the ladies. It was a very alpha male community. Being sensitive, it's not considered a quality." Understanding that he wasn't quite like the other kids, Williams, he found solace in the arts, especially acting and dancing. But the men in his family, they were expected to do one of three things. They were to get an education, enter the military, or pick up a trade. The problem was, Michael, he didn't want to do any of those things. Early on, he tried to fall in line by picking up a temp job working at Pfizer Pharmaceuticals, but soon after, Williams, he would find inspiration for his life's goals in Janet Jackson music videos. That's right, he fell in love with Rhythm Nation. Speaking with NPR about his life-changing moment, Williams, he told them this: "It was like my spirit got stirred by the visual images that were shown in that video, the strength. My spirit got awoken." Determined to become a backup dancer for his new idol, Williams, he set to work dancing in videos for Madonna, Missy Elliott, and George Michael. Now, we even got the chance to design the choreography for Crystal Waters' 100% Pure Love. While Williams would never achieve his goal of backup dancing for Janet Jackson, in all honesty, that's probably only because Hollywood, they would end up pulling him away from the music industry first. After earning the scar that would become his distinguishing physical feature at the age of 25 during a bar fight in Queens, that's when a man came up to him with a razor blade. Michael was told that music video directors, they no longer wanted him as a backup dancer. Instead, they only wanted to cast him in the stereotypical role of a thug. But sometimes when one door shuts, another one opens. In 1996, Tupac Shakur, he saw a Polaroid of Williams at a production office, and he cast him as his brother in the 1996 film Bullet.
Okay, so this is one of your first film roles. This is Bullet.
This is the very first film role.
This was your first film role.
Ever, 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 ever.
Just like that, Williams' acting career, it was off and running. Now next, he popped up in Martin Scorsese's 1990 film Bringing Out the Dead. And he also followed that up with a small part in HBO's original series, The Sopranos. Now at the time, appearing on The Sopranos, it was one of Williams' proudest accomplishments, especially because he played one of the few black roles in the series that wasn't simply a pawn to get killed off. but it was his role as Omar Little in The Wire, which ran from 2002 to 2008, that would turn Williams into one of HBO's most unforgettable faces. Just before landing the role of Omar, Williams, he had been going through a difficult time in his life. He was lost, he was in debt, and he had borrowed money from his own family simply to pay for the necessities to survive. One day, Williams, he was sitting in his living room in his episode of The Sopranos. It came on TV, and Williams, he realized right then and there that his talent, it was going to waste. Now, he told his mom he was going to give acting one last shot, and that's when he auditioned for The Wire and earned the part after only one reading. Now, at first, Omar, he was only scheduled to be a part of the first season and likely to be killed off at the end, but the creator of the series, David Simon, who was so blown away by Williams' ability and charisma, that Omar, he remained an integral part of the series for much of its run. With as popular as the character would become, Williams, he fully understood the responsibility of playing someone as firmly grounded in reality as Omar. He told The Guardian in 2015, "I used my job to engage empathy and compassion for people society might stereotype or ostracize. No one wakes up and says, I'm going to become a drug dealer or I'm going to become a stick-up kid. No, there's a series of events that makes them feel this is the only way out. As a black man growing up in the hood, I bear witness to some of those events." Yes, Omar, he was more than simply a stick-up artist, and he was one of TV's first honest and real representations of a homosexual character, one that simply wasn't played for laughs or cheap shock value.
I said, Mom, I got something to tell you. And I told her about Omar. And she looked at me and she said, baby, this is the life you chose. You go out there and you do your thing.
But as much of a blessing as the character of Omar was to the life of Michael K. Williams, it would also become something of a curse. Because in his attempts to firmly entrench himself in the role, Williams, he became as addicted to drugs in real life as his character was in the world of fiction. Williams would end up spending much of his money he earned from The Wire to feed his drug habits. Now, before long, he'd be living out of a suitcase on the floor of his house in Newark. In fact, it's likely that Williams, he wouldn't have survived until the end of The Wire had it not been for a chance encounter at a church during the filming of the third season. Now, back then, Williams, he stumbled into a New Jersey cathedral desperately seeking help. He found a priest who had no idea who he was, but he simply wanted to help another human being who was clearly suffering. Now, with the continued support of this congregation, Williams was able to wrestle his drug problems under control, but they never disappeared completely. Now, in fact, in 2008, when Williams was attending presidential hopeful Barack Obama's rally in Pennsylvania, Obama told everyone gathered that not only was The Wire his favorite TV show, but that Omar was his favorite character. Williams, he was actually too high to even respond. But hearing his name come out of the future president's mouth inspired Williams to make a difference, and he redoubled his efforts to overcome his addictions. Now, in the meanwhile, he also continued to make a name for himself as one of HBO's most valuable superstars. He not only played the memorable role of Chalky White in Boardwalk Empire from 2010 to 2014, but he was also featured as a Rikers Island inmate in the 2016 limited series The Night Of. And he was also most recently a part of the 2020 series Lovecraft County, for which Williams received his 4th Emmy nomination. One of Williams' last television appearances was at the BET Awards in June of 2021, when he joined Method Man, The Lox, and Swizz Beatz on stage for a tribute to yet another artist we lost earlier this year. I'm talking about DMX. Now, that night, in a bizarre case of foreshadowing, Williams, he would become DMX, impersonating all of the late musicians barking in madcap fury for 50 seconds straight.
I said I'm slipping, I'm falling, I can't get up. Let my soul rest and take my breath.
More recently, Williams, he had been contemplating going back to his past and becoming a force of good in the world of producing stories that matter. Now, he talked about wanting to help tell the life stories of the people that he grew up with at Vanderveer Estates and to do their struggles justice. Unfortunately, he never got the chance. On Labor Day 2021, Michael K. Williams, he was found dead at his penthouse apartment in Brooklyn, having passed away from a suspected heroin overdose. Now, it's unclear how long he had been there, but police suggest that there's no indication of foul play. Now, it's an unbelievably tragic outcome and just simply the last thing that any of us wanted to hear. But it also changes nothing in regards to the gifts that Williams has shared with us over the years, thanks to his immense talent. Now, in remembrance of this man and, many of his accomplishments, please feel free to leave some of your favorite moments of Michael K. Williams in the comments down below. Now, there's no way around it. We lost a good one here, but as long as we keep his memory alive, he'll never be gone for good. All right, I'll see you guys in another video.